And welcome to an exclusive and a special edition of Capital Talk. We're coming to you today from Juba, the capital of Southern Sudan. Why? Well, the country here just held its very first democratic elections in more than 24 years. In fact, my guest today voted for the very first time in his life. Well, that was the one part. In January, this country has a referendum where the people of the South will decide whether to break away from the North or join the North as one country. That's what we're going to talk about with my guest here, along with other issues, especially what lessons Kenyans can learn from what's just happened here in Southern Sudan. He is the president of the government of Southern Sudan. He's also first vice president of the Republic of Sudan. He is General SALVA KIIR Mayardit. Mr. President.
You're most welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
So do I.
Well done. So you voted for the first time, Mr. President, in this election. First time, you must be in your 50s now. So you voted for the very first time. What was the feeling like?
Well, it was an excitement. I'm not only in the 50s, but in the late 50s. And
that's 30 years.
And so it was a very good experience to vote in your own country.
Yes.
Yes, as I said, I did not vote before. I was not so young that I cannot vote, but there were no elections. I was in the Sudanese army. What we knew that time, during the Numeri's time, was that Numeri would contest alone. Where you vote for yes or no. And if the president stands alone, definitely nobody will say no. He will all say yes.
Yeah.
So that was the elections I knew.
Yeah.
But we did not have such a thing. So it was very good for me it was excellent for me to cast my vote.
And like you said, you were there from the very start with the likes of Dr. John Garang when you started this war 20-something years ago. Was this the covenant? Did this feel like peace is finally at hand when you voted?
Yes, it is a sign of peace coming back home. But still, there are worries, because there are still aspects of the comprehensive peace agreement which have not been implemented. And unless those aspects are implemented, still there will be no 100% peace in Southern Sudan.
Yeah.
Until the referendum takes place, we will not be sure how we can maintain peace in the South.
Okay, let's talk about the referendum, Mr. President. It looks like, judging from the way people voted for you, 93+% of the vote, it looks like they are going to vote to break away. Is that how it looks?
We cannot judge from now, but let us work and create an environment which will allow the people of Southern Sudan really to go to the referendum and vote freely without any intimidation from any party, not from the SPLM leadership or the leadership of the South, or from the National Congress Party or the leadership of the North. That Southerners should be given a free choice of their own so that they choose what they want.
What would you like as president?
I'm not the decision maker in that situation. The decision goes to the people, and so they will be the people. They will be the one to decide what do they want. For me, I have only one vote, and that one vote cannot change the situation. If Southerners vote for secession, and I vote for unity, my vote will not change the result.
If secession,
the same thing. If I vote for secession and the people vote for unity, the same thing, Sudan will still remain as a united country. My vote will not change anything.
Okay, if they do vote for secession, will that be a risky move, or what do you think? Is it the chance of going back to war?
Of course, it is an agreement which we are implementing. And in the agreement, it is stipulated that the people of Southern Sudan will have two options: unity or secession to vote for. So if the people of Southern Sudan vote for unity, I don't think that will go back to war. That why did the people of South Sudan vote for unity? Nobody will fight. In the same way, I expect those who do not want the South to break away also to accept the will of the people. If the Southerners vote for secession, they should not even resort to violence to fight Southern Sudanese because of they have voted for secession, because it is in the agreement. So I myself would warn those people who would want to bring war back again, really to refrain from thinking of such things, and they respect the will of the people of Southern Sudan.
Yeah. Dr. Koinange was alive today during this past election. What do you think he'll be thinking? Would he be proud of you?
I cannot answer that question because Dr. John is not alive, and I cannot really read his mind there in the grave.
But where he is watching over the people of Southern Sudan, you think he's proud of this moment?
Again, I would not be in a position to say whether he's proud or not. What he should be proud of is that his legacy must be carried forward, and that the vision or the program he has laid down must be implemented. I think this is the only thing that can please him, if we do exactly what he was doing during his lifetime.
Some people say the easiest part was winning the election. The most difficult is the challenges you have between now and January and beyond.
Well, the most challenging issues left now are the provisions of the CPA, which have not yet been implemented. As I said, we have the South Sudan Referendum Commission. It is not established. ABI Referendum Commission is not established. We have not demarcated the borders between the north and the south. And the issue of the popular consultation for the Nuba Mountains and the Blue Nile states. Once these things are done and we go for the referendum, it will be the last challenge that is left with us. And if we succeed to hold a peaceful referendum, then I think we would have accomplished the mission that we have set ourselves for. And even if it becomes the secession of the South, it will be a peaceful divorce between the two sisterly states that will exist as neighbors in future.
Do you see that happening, Mr. President? Because there are a lot of people out there who think if secession happens and most of the oil is concentrated in the South, there will be war.
Well, that should not really cause war if the other side was really in their sense. If they are in their sense and they know the oil is in the South, the better way to benefit from the oil would be to be friendly to the South instead of becoming hostile. Because militarily they may be stronger and they may take it by force. But in future, this will create a permanent enmity that generations will always come to fight. They go, the generation comes, they fight until when one time the South will take it by force. But if they go peacefully today, they can remain until nobody knows. Sudan can reunite again to become another united Sudan.
Yeah. And you're prepared to go all the way?
Yes. Yes.
Does it worry you though? You know, you must have sleepless nights sometimes thinking, where is this country going to go? Because after all those decades of war, now you have a bit of peace. Can you maintain this? Can you sustain this?
Well, we have been trying for the last 5.5 years. We have been trying to maintain peace in Southern Sudan and all over the Sudan, because the two armies that we have today have been always peaceful, and when incidences happen, we quickly come in to resolve it, and we maintain peace and harmony. Yeah. We believe that we can continue doing that, and if we really work sincerely among ourselves.
Is it true when you first came to Juba there was nothing here? This was a war zone, all of this.
You could have not even sat in this room if at the time when we came here, nobody was here. And the buildings that are here were just ghost houses. You cannot even afford to be breathing there for 1 minute. You can suffocate.
So in 5 years, obviously there's been a lot of progress.
Juba was not so large like how it looks now when you come here.
Yes.
There was nothing. Even food was not in Juba.
Yeah.
There were no roads connecting Juba or southern Sudan with the neighboring countries. And so all these things are now there. States in southern Sudan were not connected to one another. So you can now move anywhere in southern Sudan. And so there is a lot of improvement. Despite the fact that it is not to the satisfaction of the people of southern Sudan, we know that we have not delivered much services to them, but we have changed from where we got these people in 2005.
It takes a minute to destroy anything, Mr. President. Just like we saw in Kenya during the post-election violence, it took a very short time for a lot of destruction, but it takes generations to build. That's my biggest fear with Kenya, with Sudan. What lessons can, let's say, Kenyans learn from what's happened in your country?
The first thing is actually the peaceful campaign and the clarity of the leadership of the parties. As long as they maintain such a peaceful approach to everything, there could have been no. But Kenyan elections were very peaceful when we were following.
Yes.
Up to the end of the voting, when the results came out, this is when violence erupted, which was very unfortunate. Innocent lives were lost, property was destroyed. We don't want this thing also to happen. And we have been keeping this in our minds, and we reminded ourselves many times that let us not really be plunged into any violence without people really having been prepared for it.
Yeah.
So we would want always, to preach peace among the societies wherever we go, and that we must keep peace in our own country.
Yeah. Mr. President, I want to talk more about that, and I also want to talk about Kenya's role in the war of liberation. I know Kenya played a significant role when you were out in fighting the government of Sudan. I want to know how that was, and also what keeps you up at night. Do you worry about this country? Do you worry about the million people here in Juba or the entire government of Southern Sudan? It's a huge territory. It's as big as Kenya. You're running it now. But let's take a quick break. Good grief, the general is on the bench today. General SALVA KIIR, president of the government of Southern Sudan. This is a special capital talk coming to you from Juba. We have plenty more after the break. Don't even think of going away. Capital Talk is back in a moment. And welcome back to a special edition of Capital Talk. We're coming to you from Juba, the capital of the government of Southern Sudan. And a very special guest, just been elected president of Southern Sudan, General SALVA KIIR. So, General, during the war, during those decades, Kenya played a significant role, didn't it?
Yes.
What was the role? How significant?
Kenya sheltered hundreds of thousands of refugees from Sudan. And Kenya allowed the humanitarian organizations to be based in the territory of Kenya and to launch their humanitarian operations into southern Sudan. And Kenya, of course, gave shelter even to the combatants, the leaders of who were fighting the war in the south. And of course, in terms of humanitarian assistance, Kenya played a very big role. As a neutral country, We did not even want them to get involved in terms of acquiring military equipment from them and all that. We did not have it, but that gave them the prestige of taking the mediation between the government of Sudan and the SPLM. Because they were seen to be neutral, the IGAD countries gave Kenya the chair through which the peace was achieved in Sudan.
Yeah.
So the role played by Kenya was significant.
Yeah. But what bothers me, Mr. President, is Kenyan leaders agitating for extreme measures. Because we've never known war in our lives up until 2007, 2008. It was always peaceful. Now with our constitution, a referendum coming up, leaders are agitating. That's what worries a lot of Kenyans, because we've never known war.
Well, I would advise the Kenyan leaders not to agitate in terms of inciting people against one another, because a peaceful country like Kenya should be kept in peace as it is. And we will always be happy to see Kenya remain in peace.
Yeah.
This is what we want also to adopt in our country. Sudan has been at war with itself for a very long time. And now that the peace agreement was achieved, we want to maintain this peace so that we developed the way Kenya has been developing, the infrastructure, everything that has been in Kenya. Now the citizens of Kenya can be proud of their country. Yeah.
How significant will the government of Southern Sudan be for the region?
Definitely we will be, the government of South Sudan can be very significant to the region. It is part of the region. In Southern Sudan, you have the human resources. You have so many natural resources in Sudan. In terms of economic development in the region, Southern Sudan can play a very big role. You know, it has oil, it has other minerals, gold, and many things that are under the ground. And with all that, you have the timber, very good agricultural lands, and so forth.
So in 10 years, 20 years, Southern Sudan could be like Kenya?
Well, I don't think that it will be like Kenya, but you know, it will not be the same as it is today.
Are you optimistic, Mr. President? Because there's always that worry, I'm sure. Sometimes you must wake up in the middle of the night and say, this is a tough job.
I said before that, well, it is not easy to be the end of everything, because any single report coming from the security, coming from foreign diplomats, from business people, it must end with you. And so it is not easy. Even if you don't speak about it publicly, you know what it means, you know, when all these reports come to you, whether at night, by daytime. Yeah.
But you knew fighting that war for 22 plus years, you knew nothing came easy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. In the field, when we were fighting, you must be responsible for all your fighting troops, the wounded, the dead, the problems of logistics, and all that.
Yeah.
The reports come to you when you are a unit commander. Everything ends with you. So for me, it is not the first time for such a problem to be on my shoulder, but it is much more bigger than the responsibilities I used to handle during the war.
Speaking of which, the guns have been silent for about 5 years, you say. Is it a little strange not hearing gunfire all this time? Because you must have been used to it for long.
Well, it is not strange because I want peace. I have resigned to peace. I did not want the guns to continue awaking people at night. This is why we signed that agreement. So I must always feel happy if I don't hear any noises of the guns. or I don't hear even troops moving to any particular situation that people are going to the front line again.
Yeah.
So I feel happy when I see people enjoying their lives, their normal lives. This is what I want.
Mr. President, do you think the comprehensive peace agreement will stick, will hold? Do you think it will?
Well, the peace-loving people will want it to hold, but those who do not want peace would like to destroy it. But my wish is that the peace agreement should hold, and all of us, being in the SPLM or in the National Congress Party, should abide by what we have signed, and we just tell our followers to keep to the same agreement.
I'd mentioned that government of Southern Sudan is as large as Kenya in terms of area. It's a huge tract of land. People don't know this in Kenya, but it's almost as big as Kenya itself.
It is bigger than many countries combined.
Combined.
Mm.
With the kinds of resources you mentioned, oil, possibly uranium, gold, agriculture, timber, is there a fear that it might end up like the Congo, so rich in resources yet so corrupt?
Corruption is all over the world. There is corruption. It depends of the extent of the measure of corruption in each country. Because it is a colorless animal, you don't see the corruption. It has no shape. It has no colors, and so you cannot see corruption walking in. So that you just point fingers at that corruption is coming. But Southern Sudan cannot be compared to Congo or any other country. We believe that the resources we have, it can be well managed and can be geared to the purposes that are needed for the benefit of all the citizens in Southern Sudan, and not for individuals. People might have blown the issue. They have blown up the issue of corruption in the government of South Sudan or in Southern Sudan, and beyond its proportion, the way people have been thinking of it. But I believe Southern Sudan will not be among the corrupted countries. And if we go to trace the records of each and every country who are now independent states, people will even not want to talk about it.
Including Kenya?
No, I did not say it.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I did not say that.
Mr. President, what drives you? What is it that gets you up in the morning every single day and wants you doing all the things that you do? What drives you?
A human being always has a program to accomplish every day. And somebody like myself can be driven by so many things. How many things do I leave unfinished every evening? Because I may have an appointment, like when I was told yesterday that you were coming to meet me today. It is one thing that can keep me, let me wake up very early in the morning, prepare myself and think about what questions is this man coming to ask from me. So all these things keep somebody engaged in a way that you must remain focused to do everything that you are required to do.
Yeah. And you're going to do it come rain or shine, you'll make sure that...
You have to do it.
Yes. What's going to stop this country from going to war, Mr. President, other than peace-loving people, other than the right approaches?
Well, if there is correct plans on the ground for the development, because what causes people to fight is that injustice. If there is justice, there is equal opportunities. There is anything, you develop the people, you give them what they need. I don't think that anybody will just take up a gun and go to fight. So it is the development and solving the problems of different nationalities in the country that can prevent more wars happening again in Sudan. And we believe that if this agenda is followed, nobody can go to war. And plus the fact that what caused people to fight in South Sudan against the North is the lack of trust. Southerners lost the trust from Northerners because they have always been oppressed, and they see Northerners have been the people who took over the oppression from whoever colonized Sudan, and that they were being treated unfairly and taken as not even second-class citizens, but more than if you put them in numerically, they may not be even number 10. And so this is what kept them resenting against the rule in the North. And so if all these injustices were to be abolished, I don't think that people can go back to war.
Speaking of trust, do you trust Omar al-Bashir?
As long as we are implementing the agreement, we were fighting, of course. And we were fighting, and soon when the agreement was signed, we became friends and we were sitting together. I am his first vice president. If I don't trust him, I cannot work with him. If he doesn't trust me also, he would not allow me to be near him. But since it was a situation brought about by the peace agreement, we have to abide by that, and we work together. I trust that he will live to his obligations to implement the agreement as he has sworn before the people of Sudan.
And one more question, Mr. President, before I let you go. Advice for the people of Kenya. Again, I keep saying this. We have never known war. We were a peace-loving nation for many years. You have known war all your life. Advice for your brothers and sisters in Kenya.
Well, I love Kenya, and I love the Kenyan people because I have lived with them. I would really want them to maintain peace in their country. We have seen war in Sudan. There is nothing good that comes with war. War is destruction. And so, with the development that has started already in Kenya and has gone to where it is today, war can destroy it. In less than 6 months, there will be no Kenya. So the political leaders in Kenya should always make sure that they don't allow war to happen in their country. So I want all the tribes in Kenya to remain in peace with one another. They protect their properties together. They protect their lives together. And that is what will keep Kenya as a strongest nation. We only want peace in Kenya because Kenya for us is our home, and we don't want our second home actually to be on fire in any case. So we don't want any one of our neighbors here to be again at war with itself. We feel bad when we see it in Congo because it is the situation that we were in. We also feel bad when we see it in Central African Republic and Chad. And so I would advise really the leaders of Kenya and all the citizens in Kenya to keep peace among themselves.
Mr. President, that couldn't be better advice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Most welcome.
Great job. The President has spoken. General SALVA KIIR Mayardit, the President of the government of Southern Sudan and also first Vice President of the Republic of Sudan, right here in Juba, in the Presidential Palace. That's where we've been for this special edition of Capital Talk. You cannot find these kinds of guests anywhere else, but right here on his bench in Juba, on the award-winning station K24, where we are, as always, not only in Kenya, but even in Southern Sudan. All Southern Sudan.
All the time.